Hi guys, and welcome back to Fit with T. I hope you guys are good. When it comes to sprinting, everybody knows that the start is critical. The shorter the sprint, the more important that start becomes, right? But what about how you finish the race? How you finish the race can be the difference between making it on the podium, getting a medal, coming first, coming third, and even the difference between running a PB and not running a PB, right? In the video today, I'm going to show you guys that bad habit that's costing you a PB in your competition. And I'm also going to show you how to finish the race, so how to dip through the line so that you can get every 100th out of your time. So let's get into it. So we're going to use this line as our finish line. I can't use the actual finish line because it is iced over, because the shade is there, whereas the sun's on this side, so it's nice and clear. So let's talk about dipping through the line. Now, why do athletes dip? Because when it comes to the finish, it's about whose chest gets over that line first, right? You watch races from people like Thompson or Usain Bolt, who when they run their fastest time, they actually don't dip through the line because they're so far ahead in that race that they're not really thinking about that. But in a race where it is tight, you may want to dip through the line, right? You want to get every 100 out of your time, so dipping through the line. Now, you don't want to dip too early, so hopefully you're able to hold your form. You're in a position where you're able to hold your form towards that finish line, right? You know, if it's a 200, even in 100 sometimes, you could be in a position where you're falling. And that's not ideal. But let's say you're in an ideal position where you're able to hold your form. As you get into those last 2-3 strides, that's when you're going to start thinking about timing yourself to dip, okay? Because you want to dip over or on the line, should we say, because it's the first part of your chest that touches over that line. So as you can see, this line here, just like when you actually start, your hands go behind that line. So it's from behind the line of the 100 to the front of the line at the finish line. That's actually the 100 meters, okay? So that line here, the first part of the white line, that's where you actually want your chest to cross the line as quickly as possible. So you want to time your dip. So 1, 2, and you're preparing yourself to dip. You're going to throw your arms out and drive your chest forward. Your foot will be before the line when you go for that dip. So you have to have prepared yourself to do that, you know, dip through that line, and you're going to throw your head and your chest forward in order to do that. Now, let's talk about the bad habit that a lot of people have. If in training you fail to run through the line, every run that you do, you're slowing down before that line. So a lot of times it's the last 10 people are slowing down already. Now, in that instance, you're already slowing down, which means that you're in this position. You're in a braking position. And if you're in a braking position, you're not putting yourself in a good place to have your chest forward. So that could be the difference for you between coming third and coming first. So you really want to make sure that you're not braking, you're not slowing down before the line. Now, if you're slowing down before the line every run in training, it's very unlikely that you're going to run through the line in a competition. The whole point of training, isn't it, is to practice what you want to do in a competition. So your aim should be not to run to the line, but to run through the line, okay? Imagine there's a tape, you want to bust through that. If you're slowing down, you're not really going to break that tape, are you? So that's what you want to be thinking about, even in training. So always be aiming to at least finish 1 meter past the line all the time in a race, thinking about passing that. If you're looking at the clock, you look at the best people in the world and you're thinking, I want to be like that. But most of us don't have the privilege of always being that far ahead of somebody. So like Usain Bolt was when he ran 9.58, right? So you don't have the time to be thinking about slowing down, because like I said, especially when it comes to a championship, and if you're trying to aim for time, if you're thinking about looking at the clock, if you're thinking about, you know, trying to slow down or showboat through that line, you're not thinking about running through that line, and you could be slowing down. So in training, you want to be practicing running through that line all the time. You might want to practice your dip, because it's not something that is necessarily always easy. Some athletes start dipping too early, so you see them dipping from here, and obviously if you're doing that, you're slowing down. So you want to make sure that, you know, you need to wait till that last few strides, that's when you want to dip. You want to time it through the line. Remember, it's about your chest. So if your leg or your foot gets there first, or your arm gets there first, it's not about that, it's about your chest, okay? Throw your head forward as well, which is going to enable you to get that thrust. So the 2 things I want you guys to remember: run through the line, not to the line. Now, in training as well, because if you don't do it in training, it's very unlikely that you're going to do it in a competition, right? Remember, it's perfect practice that makes permanent in order for it to become second nature for you in a competition, okay? And when it comes to the dip, you don't want to dip too early. You want to time your dip for the last couple of strides, and so that your chest goes through that line, so that you get as much off of your time as possible, okay? So I hope this video has been helpful for you guys, and if it has, please give it a big thumbs up to help me accelerate my channel, to let the algorithm know, and so that more athletes like you can see this video. And if you want some tips about how to start the race, then make sure to check out this video or this video, and I'll see you guys on another Friday. Bye guys.